I'm living life. Yeah, I'm living life. Yeah, I'm living life. Yeah, I'm living life. Yeah, I'm living life. Hi, my name is Mike Citak. I'm 30 years old, and I'm on the fence of my religion. What's my religion, you may ask? I'm supposed to be Catholic. I say supposed to because I'm also gay. I'm more bisexual, but that doesn't matter to the church. To the church, I'm a sinner, and I ain't too happy about it. I've been, as I say, on the fence since 2001. That's a long time to be on the fence. And I have a friend, his name is Steven, we will meet him soon, who is definitely not on the fence. He's, well, I'll let him tell his story. Hello.
Mike's very different than I am. I'm, like I said, a born-again, die-hard for Christ Christian, and my goal in life is to save souls and to bring many souls back to Christ for salvation. And Mike is kind of like the opposite. It's like yin and yang when we're together. He's not very Christian. He's Christian, like a cradle Christian, but he's not really into it like I am. And so he figured that it would be awesome for he and I to get together. Since I'm so extreme one way and he's so extreme worldly. And so we butt heads a lot, and basically we started filming, and I just let the Spirit guide me and see whatever happened, and whatever ended up coming out, came out. Mike wanted to go get an apple at the orchard.
With me being on the fence of my religion, I'm eating an apple. Now, what are your thoughts about me eating this and not caring what it represents?
Well, that's...
I really don't care at this moment.
It's not really about the apple. It's more about, I don't know, are you doing it with disdain towards it and what it represents? Do you get some kind of joy out of mocking the fact that God references an apple as
Adam
good
and Eve.
Fruit, bad fruit.
I remember reading that.
Are you trying to be like Adam biting the apple? Personally, I don't. Apple a day keeps the doctors away. I mean, eat all you want. I mean, it's a good thing. God created apples. Matter of fact, now that you brought it up, we don't even really know if it was an apple that Adam and Eve even ate. It could have been one of those orange-looking soft fruits. I forgot what they're called. Percussion, whatever. The point is, it was some kind of an exotic fruit. But Jesus knows that people are simple-minded, and so he used something that was going to be so ordinary that everybody would recognize an apple. And so, basically, here's a perfect analogy right now. You're eating a nice, healthy apple, and you're enjoying it or whatever. Jesus likes the fact that that's a really healthy apple. He wants you to become more like that apple. He does not want you to be this right here.
Well, I don't think it's bearing rotten fruit.
Well, it's an analogy.
I mean, they're
right?
dying.
They're dying. Okay, it's fall. The point is,
Well, we're all dying, and
you at this stage, and I'm not judging you, but you would be one of those trees that bears rotten fruit. Goat, two legs. Sheep.
Is that a goat?
Yes. Jesus says he wants us to be sheep amongst goats. He doesn't want us to be goats. Lukewarm people are considered goats.
Now, why is that?
Well, in Jesus' parable, he's the good shepherd. Jesus is the good shepherd, and he wants us to be harmless sheep.
white as snow and clean, and who obey the shepherd. He refers to sinners or lukewarm Christians as goats. Goats tend to go their own way. They like to climb mountains, they like to do their own thing. They do not listen to the shepherd. They don't follow in herds. They do everything solo. And sheep know their shepherd's voice, and they come running and they stick by the shepherd in numbers, like the church. They represent the church because they're all harmless and they're all together. Goats, on the other hand, have horns, and they're always fighting and bucking and doing their own thing and trying to scale the peaks of the world, and they just do everything on their own. So they're kind of people who are outside of the church, living in the world, versus sheep. Okay, so another analogy here with this chicken. You see one chicken solo amongst all these goats. That chicken can kind of represent a Christian who's fairly new, or what I call a newborn. They're seeking their faith, they're in the church, but they're still very worldly, and they're still hanging amongst bad company. Jesus said, if you want to soar with the eagles, you got to stop hanging on the ground with the chickens. They can't fly. So there's nothing glorious about a chicken who can't fly and walks around in its own filth all day long pecking. So if you want to be able to soar in good heights with Jesus, like an eagle, then you don't want to be a chicken. And there you have it. Not exactly something I aspire to be. Oh, there you go. The fact that we're doing the show, the fact that we were at that apple orchard, the fact that you were eating an apple, the fact that what the apple symbolizes, it all has relevance to the seeker. You can say, oh, okay, you're just looking for nothing. You're just trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. You Christians are, you take an apple and you make a whole long story and parable out of something as simple as an apple. Like, come on. Well, no, that's why Jesus spoke that way to people. To simple-minded people, to try to understand God better, so that they would understand the relevance of everything, that nothing just happens. Every single thing that God created from the beginning has relevance and a purpose, and you can take anything. You can take an apple or a paper bag and make it into something of relevance. So, basically, the show is going to be about you and me seeing God and seeing biblical relevance in everything in life. No matter what we decide, wherever we end up, it's going to matter. You're never going to run out of biblical scripture that covers everything or that ties in with everyday waking life. And then you'll see how somebody like you lives life very different than somebody who's born again like me, where I see everything through God's eyes and perspective. I see the relevance and the reality of things and the importance of everything, where you probably, and I'm not knocking you, but probably just live life taking life for granted. You want an apple, you enjoy the apple. You don't stop and really think about everything that went into that apple. Its creation, its purpose. You don't sit there and say, gee, Adam and Eve, it all started with an apple. You're just eating it. You just like it, you eat it, it's fine.
I used to, though.
What changed? So you're telling me you used to always think in detail about everything?
No. From the time that I was baptized until the time that I was old enough to get married and was engaged, I did follow the Catholic way to a point. My parents were never really overly religious. We still went to church on Sundays. And then that kind of faded when I started to have a job.
So it was a fun day. We're just starting out. I don't know what's going to make the final cut or what's not. We're just playing around with the whole idea right now and trying to get the show formatted. And so I basically just took Mike to some of my favorite places. One of them was Our Lady of Grace Monastery, where I go to reflect a lot. Usually the church is empty. Today it happened to be Vesper hour at 5 o'clock, which I wasn't expecting. I wanted to just show Mike the church and tell him some of the stories, why I go there, and some of the amazing things that have happened when I've been there by myself or with other people, and basically show him where I kind of go to hide and get away from the world and to talk to God and pray and just have peace and quiet and peace of mind and meditate and pray. And we happened to be there at a good time where there were some people there doing Vespers, and we actually got some of the nuns on film, and it seemed like Mike kind of liked it, I maybe he didn't want to admit it, but...
Sure. I get it. I would not devote my life to it. To be stuck in a compound and like never leave that, and devote your entire life to singing to Jesus and to God and to praying for people who you've never met. I'm thankful for it? Yeah, sure. Would I ever do it myself? No.
I asked him, I'm like, didn't you feel a sense of peace and serenity? And he's like, yeah, you know, and the beautiful way that they were singing.
I couldn't understand what they were singing about. And while at the same time, though, my mind was filled with questions.
You can't go there and not leave your cares of the world at the door and just... It's the only time that my mind just stops racing and I'm just quieted and I'm having peace. And I can just think and enjoy, you know, my faith and think, you know, or not think at all and just have peace of mind. Mike, on the other hand, boy, he's going to be one tough cookie. He's so on the fence. He's actually on the other side of the fence, I believe. I don't know. I'm just trusting God with this, that He'll speak to Mike's heart and show him some amazing things, and that by the end of this series, Mike will understand a lot more about Christianity and Christians and why us Bible-thumping holy rollers, born-again crazies, are the way that we are. It's really quite simple. And I'm hoping that we're going to see Mike, like I did over the past decade, come out of the world and be in the world but no longer of the world, and start loving God and understanding more about his Christian faith. And hopefully we'll see a transformation in him. You know, once he starts understanding, maybe I can teach him some things and explain some things in a different way. And he may start coming to love the Lord and change his ways, his life. Maybe he'll be a born-again Christian soon too. That's the whole point of this show, is to try to... You take a guy like Mike who's very worldly and doesn't really believe, and a guy like me who's very born-again, who does believe and has reasons for faith, and put us together, and he's kind of representing the world at large, and I'm representing the Christian faithful, and we're going to butt heads, and it's going to be interesting. I'm always thinking more Christ-minded, and Mike's mind is probably always in the gutter. But it works, and you kind of need that, because I'm trying to appeal to the masses. I want to reach out to many souls and show them basically, look, it doesn't matter what you've done, what your past is. Every sinner has a past. Every saint has a past. Every sinner has a future. So you have to make a choice. Will you choose to love and follow and obey Christ, or just continue down the way of the world? I made the choice probably almost 10 years ago. I always kind of knew in my heart since I was a child that that was my calling, but I really got myself dirty with the world and did everything imaginable that you can possibly do wrong. But yet, God pretty much came to me one day and changed my life and said, okay, I'm giving you a choice. Do you want to keep going down that road, or do you want to forsake that and totally risk it all and bring people to me and change your life, and I will bless you and I will show you amazing things, supernatural things? And I said yes, because it got to the point where my life was going nowhere fast. I lost everything. It was just, I was very sick. I had all kinds of neurological illnesses. I had a brain condition, a heart problem. You name it, I have it. People look at me and say, wow, Steve, you look pretty healthy. If you saw my medical record, which is probably thicker than the Bible, you'd be like, wow, now that's amazing grace. Like, the only reason I'm functioning and so on fire for Christ is because God keeps his promise. You know, you pray to him, you seek that relationship, he will work wonders in you and transform you and strengthen you and keep you moving and keep you as long as you're in line with him. And it's a long, lifelong process. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. And I'm just trying to show Mike, because Mike and I have known each other for a few years. I'm an actor, and he is a director and an actor and a producer. And so we're both met through the same industry, but when he saw a change in me, I believe that what happened here, like Steve was totally this way, and then all of a sudden now he's totally on fire for Christ and everything's changed. You know, he took an interest and he said, you know, you need your own show one day. We should do a reality show together, kind of like the Kardashians or Jersey Shore, but Christ-oriented, so that we can show the church, the modern day church, and the world, and how they interlock, and show every sinner out there who doesn't know Christ or may not have any interest why they should. And, you know, so basically Mike's like, listen, Steve, I'm not guaranteeing anything. You know, maybe you'll make a believer out of me, probably not, but I'm willing to do this. And, you know, I want you to show me stuff and teach me stuff. Let's get the Bible. Let's do what the Bible says and get it on film. You know, I want to film our everyday life, how I am in my life, how you are in your life. What's a little glimpse, like a reality show of Steve's life, you know, in the house, when he's out. How does he evangelize and minister? How does he think? You know, his prayer life, pretty much everything. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, that sounds pretty cool. Let's give people the real, unfabricated, real person seeking Christ and get it all on camera and make a series out of it. If people can watch that garbage like Jersey Shore or the Kardashians, which is leading them down to the gates of hell faster than anything, maybe it's time for them to find some two bold guys who are willing to be bold enough to say, hey, we're going to go against the grain. We're going to give the world something that's been a long time in the making. Like, it really should have been here a long time ago, but now's the time where it's all been done before on TV and stuff. We need to come up with something new and something that's going to be good, you know. And so basically that's what my goal is with Mike. I don't know if I'm going to be able to desecularize him, and, you know, I'm just hoping that by my example, word and deed, a little bit of Christ will rub off on him as it did on me, and maybe he'll be a believer and he'll start changing his ways. Probably not. I don't know. That's up to God. But it's amazing how God he could have chose anybody to put this show together with me, and Mike was the least likely person to say, hey Steve, let's do this. And I'm like, but we're so opposite. You're like evil, and we're so night and day. But I'm like, wait, that makes for a good reality show, you know. So I'm gonna bear with Mike, and he's gonna bear with me, and we'll see where it goes. This is Aurora, by the way. It's my little dog. Alright, well, hopefully you guys are going to enjoy the show.
I've lived a life, I've seen it all, felt the tears of another when they took a fall. I've walked the walk, my head held high, not taking life for granted or being afraid to die. Can you tell me now, after all of these years, why do I find you? Can you tell me now, why should we go and leave the past behind when there's so much left to learn in my life? And I gave thanks and always came to see you, never taking breaks. You've held me through good times and bad, shown a path of least resistance, never seeming mad in my life. I never saw you walk the path beside me, in my life. Were you always there to lend a hand in need? Could it be I had to learn? Now I pray to you, dear Lord, I am ready to receive you. Take me from this board, I can tell you now, after all of these years, I'm glad I found you. I can tell you now, this path we lead will be my saving grace. I've got so much left to learn please let me go. I've seen it all, felt the tears of another when they took a fall. I've walked the walk, my head held high. I will see the Prince beside me until the day I die. I can tell you now, after all of these years, I'm glad I found you. I can tell you now, this path we lead will be my saving grace. I've got so much left to learn, I'm living life. Yeah, I'm living life. Yeah, I'm living life. Yeah, I'm living life. Yeah,
I just had to worship you. So my thoughts on the day, we're a work in progress. We went to a nun convent. I had fun. I have a lot to think about. And that's about it. So thanks. Talk to you later.